Yeah, so the bell ringer is on the website. It is May 11th, day 3 of class. You only have about 4 to 5 minutes if you don't know the answer, but that you don't know. Do your best is not for a grade or a ticket, it's just for me to check up and see, like, are you on the right track? These are actual test questions that you're practicing.
I can't think of the 3 others. This is killing me.
Shh. Do your best. I'll give you a hint for number 1. Here it goes.
Oh, you did that one.
You know, I can't remember the name. Oh, I know that one.
Oh, okay.
Smoke? Smoke? You're smoking.
Shh.
Oh, smoke.
Are we recording? Yes.
I don't think I was here for the communism and capitalism day.
Wait.
Wait. I wasn't here. We didn't.
We didn't have class yet.
Oh, sorry,
Yes, we
No,
did.
I wasn't.
We had class yesterday.
We didn't have
Wait,
classes.
what is he talking
What's the
I wasn't
you
here
guys had
for
class yesterday? Were you here yesterday?
Yeah. What
Yeah,
did
we were
you
just
guys
doing
do?
posters.
Yeah, but there was homework assignments, watch the brain pop video.
Oh, I watched about
Yeah.
communism.
Yeah, that's what that question is.
Okay.
Oh, oh yeah.
Wait, is there a
I
question
don't
on? Is there a question on communism? I don't know wrong one then.
May 11th, day 3.
May.
Couple minutes.
I got this.
May the 4th be with you.
Can you please stop?
You guys have your slides?
Yeah.
So are we ever gonna have any independent study?
Go ahead and skip ahead to the slides.
Are we ever gonna get any independent study?
We had one day of, Emily. We had one day of, and we might have one day of. Actually, yeah, the next one. Cool. But it won't be a full period. But you only have like 4 assignments for you to do when you're up.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and submit what you got. Let's review the answer to number 1. Say it with me if you know it. Sean, Joe, Chen, Han, Sweet, Tang, Song, Yuan, or Mongols, whichever you call it, Ming, Qing.
Wait, why is that like
For the opium
Smoking
wars,
opium.
right? They have the opium wars, the drug thing.
the drug war?
Opium?
Oh yeah, the drug war.
Okay. So there's your dynasty. The second question, capitalism and communism. You should have, last night, watched a brain pop video on communism. If you didn't, then you should go back and watch that, not now, but like tonight to refresh your memory. So, communism and capitalism. You may also think back to the very beginning of the year where we played the M&M and Skittles game, where you had to write a name as many times as you could.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, as one time we played it, remember, however many times you wrote it, you got that number of M&Ms and Skittles. The second time, we averaged out the M&Ms and Skittles. The first way is more like capitalism. The second way is more like communism. In capitalism, the idea is people compete for resources, for money, and that's supposed to be good in theory because that will encourage you to work hard. You're gonna get more if you work hard, right? In communism, the idea is we all pitch in and we're all in this together, we all share equally. In theory, that's good because we're all sharing and helping each other out. Those are the theories in capitalism and communism. In practice, it doesn't always work out quite like that, right? So what's the problem with capitalism? What's a problem with saying, hey, we'll just compete, may the best man win, if you're the smartest, you get stuff, and if you're not, you don't. Charles?
Well, because a lot of people, so the people that get a lot of money, so like they do better and they get more money. But then there are people that don't do as well, or maybe there's a reason why they don't do as well. So they get paid less.
Yeah. If your theory is compete and may the best man get stuff, and that sometimes means the second best man or woman doesn't get stuff, right? Even though they might still be working hard. We like to say in America that the harder you work, the more you get, that we live in a capitalist society, but that's not always true. Sometimes you can work very hard in the wrong kind of job. Sometimes you can work hard, but you're second best and the best person gets the most. Sometimes, even in our society, maybe you don't work at all, your dad just left you a bunch of money, right? So it's not always true here that the richest people are the ones that are the hardest workers. Sometimes, in this school, there are 3 teachers in this building that are lawyers. They choose not to be lawyers, they choose to be teachers instead. They would make more money if they were lawyers, but they just choose not to do that, right? Doesn't mean they're not hard workers. Yeah.
Who are the lawyers?
Myself, Miss Jessie, and
You're a lawyer?
Mr. Bell.
You're a lawyer? Cool. Miss Jessie's a lawyer?
You're a lawyer?
Mr. Bell's a lawyer?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I choose not to do that though because teaching's way more fun.
Is
Wait,
being a lawyer?
how are you a lawyer?
Oh, Jamie.
I went to school to become a lawyer and then I decided I'd rather be a teacher.
Yeah, my dad was.
Feel free to. So that's the theory and idea behind capitalism. Harder you work, the more you get. That's going to help everyone work hard. It doesn't always work out that way. It sometimes leads to inequality. You're going to have really, really rich people in your society and really poor people in society. Sometimes those poor people are poor because they're lazy. Sometimes they're poor because something bad happened to them. It also, in that kind of society, maybe the rich people didn't work hard. Maybe they inherited. Maybe they cheated. And that's how they got their money, right?
How did
But the basic idea, the harder you work, the more you get, is not always bad. Communism, the idea is you should share. The basic idea, let's all share, is a good idea. In practice, what we find is that when people are forced to share what they earn, they sometimes don't want to work very hard because they think, why should I work hard if I'm just going to have to share it with everybody else, right? I would work hard if I got to keep this stuff, but I'm not going to work hard if I got to share it with people. Emily, thanks for raising your hand.
Oh,
Are you saying how they cheat?
yeah, how did they cheat?
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah. Good question. So, 2008, economic collapse and disasters, bankers were getting paid bonuses if they could sell certain loans to people, and sometimes they lied on people's loan applications in order to give them loans, to make it able for them to get loans. And that made the banker look really good. Look at all these loans I gave out. And then they would get all these bonuses for giving out loans, but really, they were achieving and giving people loans that they probably shouldn't have, right?
Did they get caught?
They did get caught, they ended up having to pay fines. But they're fines, but those ones we only know the ones we caught, we don't know the ones we didn't caught.
Catch.
Caught.
Didn't
Didn't
caught.
caught.
You only know the one who didn't caught.
Alright, so please be on this slide, I know that means we're skipping a few, and that's okay. I'm going to take a little detour from China and talk about a really, really famous guy named Karl Marx. You should know this guy's name. You're going to see him again in high school, probably in college if you choose to go to college. Really important in economics and sociology. And he wrote a book. He's a German guy, and he wrote a book in the 1800s, really famous. It's called The Communist Manifesto. It's in our library. You can read it if you want, but it'll probably put you to sleep. It's kind of boring. But the last line of the book is really important. This guy is sometimes called the father of communism. And the last line of the book says, "Workers of the world, unite." His idea was that people should share because it takes everyone to make all that money. So yesterday's example of my painting company, in order for me to make $10,000 or $5,500 in our example yesterday, I had to kind of use you guys to do the work. Is this ringing a bell?
Yeah.
Right? Marx would not like that. Marx would say, hey, if the only way to make $10,000 is for 6 people to be working,
yeah.
you should share that $10,000. You shouldn't get to say, I'm the boss, so I get more. So what Marx suggested was that workers, the proletariat, he gave them a fancy name,
Well,
he liked these people. He said, these are the people that actually do the work in society. These are the painters, the factory workers that make cars, the farmers. Those are the proletariat, the working class people. They're the ones that actually do things for society. According to Marx, these guys, the bourgeoisie, they're the rich people. They don't really do much. They just kind of own things. They own the factory. They own the painting company. And they sit in their air-conditioned offices and make millions because they have people working for them. Now in America we say, good job. That's smart, right? You should, if you're smart enough to start your own company and do that, go for it. But Karl Marx says that's taking advantage of people. That is exploitation, right? That people do that because they know that you're probably not going to quit your job if you need money for food to eat. Right? Marx was hoping that there wouldn't really be classes in society and nobody would own factories. Factories would be kind of like owned by everybody or owned by the government, right? What we find is this communism, capitalism thing, you can do something in between, and in fact the US does. We say that we're capitalists, but we're not 100% capitalists. There are things we share. For example, roads. Everybody gets to drive on a road if you have a car. If you don't have a car, you're still allowed to walk or bike on the roads, even if you're lazy and don't contribute anything to society. We still let people share in that. Public schools. Everybody gets to go to a public school, even if they're lazy and don't contribute to society. We still share that, right? So that part is communist. It's sharing. But not everything is. If your house is not given to you for free, you get to choose your house, and if you work harder, you get a bigger one, right? You can choose your clothes and your car. It's not given to you for free. If you work harder, you get to go get whatever one you want, right? So we kind of have a mixture of the two. The reason we're talking about this German guy from the 1800s is because Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao, really famous Chinese guy, takes control of China in the 1950s. Those of you who, how many of you, real quick show of hands, have read about this guy from English class? Chairman Mao?
Yeah.
Red Scarf? Who's reading Red Scarf Girl?
Me.
Yeah, he's in there. So Chairman Mao's in there. Mao's Last Dancer? Anybody reading Mao's Last Dancer? Nobody?
I tried to
She
find
would
those
use
things.
Okay. So this really famous guy named Chairman Mao, Chairman Mao Zedong, he just went by Chairman Mao, takes control of China, and he had read Marx's book and was like, good idea, we should try that. Okay. So he comes up with a program for China. Sorry. Oh, this is Karl Marx.
It's a big
Oh,
video.
that's the guy
German
you're
guy.
talking about.
That's a really big video.
Right. So Chairman Mao, the leader of China in the 1950s and 60s, comes up with a program called the Great Leap Forward. And he says to all of China, I want to make China as great as England and the United States. We're kind of behind times here, Chinese people, and if we're going to be great, we're going to need to have a master plan to do this. I'm going to have to take control of this country and come up with a plan. We're going to catch up. We're going to increase steel production because steel and factories, that's the way to get ahead in the 50s and 60s, right? And Mao is looking for inspiration for ways to start this plan. And what he says to sort of himself is, you know, militaries are really efficient, right? Militaries really get stuff done. And you notice that in like the United States military, they give you a job, and it might be a different job. Some people are plane mechanics, some people are cooks, some people shoot guns, whatever. But everybody wears a uniform, everybody sleeps in the same kind of barracks, everybody's kind of told what to do, but it seems to work really well. They really get the job done in the military. So Mao says, what if we took that idea, that type of organization, and applied it to other parts of life, like farming, like steel production, like factories. What if we said, hey, China, just sort of like pretend like you're all in the military now, right? We're gonna be super organized and have a plan, and we're gonna catch up with the US and England. So he puts people in these collective farms or communes. Now communes still exist today, even in America, but you get to choose if you want to be in one, and not very many people choose to do this.
Wait, where are they in America?
Here and, I mean, they exist there and they exist here, but in America, not very many people choose to do it. So commune is where everybody lives on this collective, like community all together, farm together. They split up the men, women and children, they give them barracks to sleep in, kind of like army barracks. They give them a job, and you are forced into this. But the good thing is everyone gets free food, free clothing, free shelter. Again, this is supposed to be kind of military-like. If you enter the United States military, you're going to get free food, clothing, and shelter. What are you not going to get? Very much freedom. Kind of funny because you're fighting for freedom, but they don't give you freedom in the military. You have to take orders. You have to do what they say, right? So Chairman Mao is saying, you guys do what we say. This is your job. This is the farm you're going to live on, but you get all this free stuff. Your basic needs will be taken care of. This is going to, according to Mao, increase food production. Yay, more food. And because it's communist and everyone shares, what will happen is the farms will send some of that food to the capital city. The capital city will redistribute the food to everyone, so everyone gets food. And that allows some people not to work on farms, but instead to work in factories, making steel, doing stuff like that. This should remind you of, it's a really good like book and movie series out right now, where places send things to the capital.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, sort of Hunger Games like. Only Mal says we're gonna spread it out evenly, right? That's true. He gets some support from the Soviet Union, another communist country, who says, hey, good plan, you know, do this, right? So can anyone predict or foresee whether this is going to succeed or not succeed? Nathan?
It's gonna